It's time to remember and forget last week and then kick off another week here of winning bets, starting with afternoon soccer. Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's Jason, of course, with Winning Bets, giving you guys free sports picks every single day. I hope you guys are off to a nice little start here to your work day as we're on Monday morning. Thanks for kicking off a morning and kicking off a new week with me here. Hope you guys also had a nice, fantastic weekend. I mentioned on Friday's show we would have a good weekend here in Chicago, and that's exactly what we did. Beautiful. Just absolutely beautiful weather on Saturday, 75, 80 degrees. We got out multiple times, had ourselves just a fantastic day. Then even Sunday was kind of nice. Had some intermittent rain showers, but large in part, the sun was out. Another day to get outside and have some fun. So I hope spring is in the air wherever you live as well, and you were able to get outside and have some fun as well. As for sports, it was overall, rough week, rough weekend as well. Let's just jump right on into the recap. And then we got a new week here of winning bets to go ahead and kick off. As you can see, last week we went 51-90 and down 27.54 units. And obviously a large part of that is to those MLB dogs, and we'll certainly get to that. But I certainly also handed out my fair share of losers last week to go ahead and contribute to that. Now on the year, a lot of wins, a lot of losses, and plus 20.11 units still on the year. So that's the only positive we got, is we're still money on the year, and still a good little bit money on the year too, up over 20 units. What were some of those good wins and some of those bad losses from last week? Let's start with those wins. How about last Monday, Barcelona and Cadiz under, or was it under? Yeah, it was under 9.5 corners, and that one stayed under. So good one right there. I believe we won that one on the hook, if I recall correctly. We were sweating out the last 10 or so minutes. There was even 7 minutes of added injury time, and we still went under 9.5 corners. We also were pretty good with Liverpool to us last week. We won midweek. We won their over on their goal total against Manchester United, as they were able to really beat up on them. And then on this past weekend against Everton, there in the Merseyside Derby, we did 1-0, and they were able to shut out Everton and route to their 2-0 win. So got a couple wins by Liverpool last week. We also did Manchester City midweek on that clean sheet, going up against Brighton. So a nice easy win as they were able to beat Brighton and collect all 3 points in that game. Then we switched it over to baseball. A couple good pitching props. Lauer, we stayed under his pitching prop in terms of his strikeouts. I believe that was up against the Pirates, if I recall correctly. So that was a good K prowess right there. Then Cole Irvin, of course, he was that live bet that one night where we did his, what do you do? Under his strikeouts and under his props, whatever it was more just taking advantage of DraftKings just falling asleep behind the wheel and giving out some free money, and we certainly took advantage of that. What were some of those bad losses from last week? Well, I could have just put all of them or too damn many or a whole damn bunch of them, because, boy, we certainly had enough of them. How about Athletics F5 run line? You guys remember that? We lost a bet, and my man Frankie Montas only gave up one hit. It was a double, but unfortunately he had walked the previous batter, so the guy he walked was able to score, and instead of winning the fifth inning 1-0, that one run in the top of the fifth inning on their only hit in the game off Frankie Montas was enough to go ahead and spoil our bet as that fifth inning finished 1-1. So loser right there. But we came back and had an uglier beat the next day in Sox versus Guardians in a Nerfy. We lost that one by giving up 0 hits. That one was just absolutely brutal, the way the White Sox defense let us down, going error to go ahead and start that game. And then, with just good baseball, right? Just kind of move a runner over, get a sacrifice fly, those sort of things right there, was able to score a runner with getting 0 hits. So those two losses were really, really brutal to us. Then a couple pitching props. We took Ray and his over his out count. He missed it by 1 out. They did not run him back out there for that 7th inning. Dylan Bundy under 3.5 Ks there on Monday when it was the whole, what did they do, that Boston Marathon kind of game. Anyways, Dylan Bundy's just off to a nice start to his career. We did not fade him this weekend when he was going up against the Royals, and that was a good decision because he had another good outing. So yeah, just gonna have to wait for him to be a stinker. He's not burning any more of our cash. And then Jordan Lyles over 1.5 walks. He didn't get there into the game on 1 walk. And then you can see right there, MLB dogs. It was absolutely brutal, and we'll do a nice recap here a little bit later on today's show. But the skinny is 33-62 and down 18.75 units. So lost, 27.5 units? But damn near 19 of those units were all just because of those MLB dogs, of just blindly betting those dogs. So just an absolute terrible, terrible week by those MLB dogs. And then over 2.5, you guys remember on Thursday, we had Newcastle Crystal Palace over 2.5 goals. That one lost. And then we also had Everton Leicester over 2.5 goals. That one also large. Large in part, soccer was relatively good to us, but those were a couple losses that tripped us up. Soccer on the weekend was good to us. Arsenal team total, and also Liverpool 1-0. We went 2-0 in soccer this weekend. So So had overall, I would say, a good week in soccer. Just certainly tripped up on a couple of those over 2.5s. And then we'll take a couple arbitrage dollars and we'll roll them into this week. We'll take $8.79 in arbitrage money that we earned on Sunday, and we'll just go ahead and roll that into this week. So yeah, piss poor week. Let's not go ahead and repeat that. Let's turn some profit this week. Let's go ahead and brighten somebody's Monday by going ahead and giving away $43. That's right, we're doing our bet win giveaway. We're still on the 9th attempt of 10 attempts that we're doing total. And this past weekend, we did Austin Dillon over Martin Truex Jr. I missed that there in the weekly recap because I kind of wanted to talk about it now. I mentioned on Friday's show, if those two guys were going to finish on the lead lap, Austin Dillon was going to beat Martin Truex Jr., and I was really sure of that, and that's exactly what Austin Dillon did, coming home P2 yesterday at Talladega. Now, Martin Truex Jr. had a surprisingly rare good finish in a super speedway. He was in the top 5, but could not beat Austin Dillon. Knew that was going to happen. That's why I love that bet on Friday and gladly went ahead and give you guys that nice winner there in NASCAR. And then I made it the free giveaway. So we have $43 to go ahead and give away on today's show. So you guys know how we do it. We do it on that random number generator. So with that being said, let's go ahead and see who's going to win $43. We've got 40, is that 8? 48, that is 48. 48, who's 48? We've got Adventure 2K. Adventure 2K. I'll always see you in the comments from time to time. Appreciate your support. Go ahead and hit me up on Twitter. Drop me your PayPal information, and I'll go ahead and send you $43. So Adventure 2K, go ahead and hit me up. As for everybody else, the contest still goes along. Again, we still got this current attempt that we're on right now. That is number 9, and then we still got number 10 as well. And I'll go ahead and announce what that bet free giveaway is on the payoff pitch. I'm gonna go ahead and, when I give out a bet there, go ahead and make that announcement. So we'll do it over there. All right, let's go ahead and do a more deeper dive here of these MLB underdogs and just see what the hell happened last week. Well, started off as a loser on Monday. As you can see right there, went 3-5 and down 8.5 units. Tuesday, it took a turn for a worse, going 4 for 12, down almost 7 units. Wasn't any much better on Wednesday. Still went 4 for 12, but lost even more money, over 7 units. Finally had a good day on Thursday, going 5 for 5 and winning almost 1.5 units, and then went right back to being poor, generally speaking, the rest of the weekend. Lost money on Friday, going 4 for 10, losing 4 units. Lost money on Saturday, going 6 and 10, losing almost 1.5 units. And then Sunday, we did almost pick up a half unit, going 7 and 8. But overall, as you can see, and as I said earlier, 33 and 62 and almost losing 19 units. I have pulled the plug. I'm out. No more MLB dogs. I can't be getting a beat like that. And obviously, you can see the total there. We have less of a deficit than what we did last week. So obviously went into last week positive, but just can't take another beating like that. Can't take another losing 19 units like that of just blindly betting, right? That's not bets that obviously I'm researching. That's not bets I like anything. Just blindly betting those MLB underdogs. I can't do it. I absolutely cannot do it. So we'll go ahead and pull the plug. If you're curious as to which teams are good and bad, I'll go ahead and put up the full spreadsheet here. You can see the Rockies, Athletics, and Mariners are still pretty good if you want to back some underdogs. If you're looking for some underdogs, go ahead and stay away from those Reds, Orioles, White Sox, and Red Sox, as they're not doing us any good. So that experiment is over. I may or may not be doing it behind the scenes. I'm just not going to may or may not be doing it publicly. If I do it behind the scenes privately, then I'll go ahead and do another recap on Monday. So maybe I'll do that or maybe I won't. We'll just have to see. I don't know how much more of a ass kicking I can quite take. Quite frankly, those that hurt last week. Those dogs, that hurt. I didn't enjoy that one bit. Let's go ahead now and give away some bets on today's show. Let's go ahead and look at the only Premier League game that's going on today, this afternoon. It's Crystal Palace going against Leeds. I like a bet in this game for Crystal Palace to either win the game or draw. So you're taking Crystal Palace on a double chance. And then I'm also going to parlay that with over 7.5 corners at -130. I tweeted this bet over, I believe it was Saturday. I went ahead and tweeted this one. So it's Palace on the double chance, over 7.5 corners at -130. Let's go ahead and talk about the corners here for a second. It's cash in 5 of the 6 games since Jesse Marsch has gone ahead and taken over. Remember, Leeds had a managerial change there about 6 weeks ago. Well, since Jesse Marsch has been in charge, it's cash in 5 of those 6 games. Palace, it's lost in their last 3, but it's lost in the last 3 on all those on the hook. So all 3 of their last games have all ended with 7 corners. Kind of add that, though, with what Jesse Marsh has been able to do since taking over at Leeds, cashing 5 of the 6. So I like that. All of the recent head-to-heads, there's only 3 recent heads-to-heads that really matter. You start getting back into older time dates, and I don't think those matters, but 3 head-to-heads that matter, and all 3 of those got a cash. So we obviously like that. Palace is averaging 9.3 corners per game and 8.94 corners per home. Leeds is averaging 9.5 corners per game, and they're averaging 9.0 corners in their away fixtures. All right, so all the numbers say right there that the corners should certainly go over 7.5 corners. How about for the double chance part? Well, just start with Palace as the better team. They're in the better standings. They've got 4 more points than Leeds. Leeds is, fighting for relegation, although they've really climbed their way up of it the last few weeks, getting, some good results. But the fact is, Crystal Palace is the better team. If we look at form, though, boy, Leeds is absolutely hot. In their last 5, they've got 3 wins, 1 draw, and 1 tie, collecting 10 points. But keep in mind, though, they may have 3 out of their last 5 wins, but 2 of those wins, one's against Norwich and one's against Watford. Norwich won't be in the Premier League next year. Watford likely won't be in the Premier League next year. So Leeds is beating up on teams that, obviously aren't very good in the Premier League. Now, one of those other wins was against Wolves, so that was certainly a nice result. And then they drew against Southampton. That's who their draw was in that. And if I look at their draw against Southampton, to me, Southampton and Crystal Palace are pretty similar teams, right? Premier League stables. Teams that are generally mid-table, anywhere from that 10 to 15 spot is where you'll find Southampton and Crystal Palace every season. So, okay, Leeds, you're on nice form. You're beating up on the bad teams, but when you stepped up to a team that I think is comparable to what Crystal Palace will bring, you got a draw against Southampton. For Crystal Palace, their games are averaging 2.6 goals, whether you look at home, away, or, home, away, or all their fixtures. So I think this was kind of going to be low scoring. You kind of keep that low scoring. I think that puts it in Palace's favor that they can go ahead and get a result in this fixture. So that's how I'll go ahead and do it there. We'll do Crystal Palace on the double chance, parlay that with over 7.5 corners at -130. There is one more soccer game today. It's in Serie A. You got Sassuolo going up against Juventus. And boy, when I did the research for this, all I could think of was sitting in my car 2 Fridays ago when I did the Daily Show. Remember when I was so busy and I did it on the drive home from school? And we talked about Monaco versus Rennes, about how I didn't end up betting that game, but if you wanted action, you should bet both teams to score at over 2.5 because that's all it had done in their head-to-heads. Well, both teams to score and over 2.5. That's all it's done in this Sassuolo versus Juventus fixture. You got to go all the way back to 2017. The last time both teams to score and over 2.5 did not cash was in 2017. And in that fixture in 2017, over 2.5 goals cash as the result was 3-0. So maybe if you want to leave off the both teams to score aspect, you just go ahead and do over 2.5 goals because, again, it is scoring like crazy in this head-to-head fixture. Sassuolo, they actually lead the league in terms of goals per match, and Juventus is at 2.9 goals. So not only does the head-to-head support it, the current season stats also support both teams to score in over 2.5. I've left it off my card because I'm only trying to give out 4 bets a day, my best 4 bets over the course of the day. This one was number 5. This one didn't quite make the 4 best bets of the day. This one came at number 5. But if you want any more afternoon action, hey, maybe it's Sassuolo Juventus over 2.5 goals, and maybe you throw in a little both teams to score with it as well. But I did want to just touch on that just because, man, the data looks so good, just like that Rennes versus Monaco one from a couple Fridays ago. The other thing I want to talk about today is one more bet to go ahead and pass along. Mets and Dodgers to win their series. Parlay at +144 over at DraftKings. Both of these teams are playing 3-game series. The Mets are going up against the Cardinals. Think they'll win the series. And the Diamondbacks are facing those Dodgers. And obviously, I think the Dodgers will go ahead and win that series. So it's Mets and Dodgers series win parlay at +174 over DraftKings. I'm going to talk about both of these games a lot later and more in depth on the payoff pitch, where you guys actually already know I'm on the Mets money line today at -135 because I tweeted that play out yesterday. Look forward to talking about that in a lot more detail on the payoff pitch. And of course, I'll give you guys some more baseball bets as well on the payoff pitch. It's at 11:30 a.m. Eastern time. So look forward to seeing you guys over there. All right, guys, let's have ourselves a good Monday. Going to do 4 bets in all, and we're going to have ourselves a solid Monday and kick off a new week here of winning bets. Enjoy your day. We'll see you a little bit later on. Thanks for watching till the end. I'm Jason Mattis. Any love you can show by giving me a like, a subscription, or a comment, or even just share this video is very much appreciated. And don't forget to turn on your notifications to increase your chances of locking in the same odds as I talked about today. And check out my other great videos in these corners.